are joined by ESPN college basketball analyst Fran Fraschilla, who called the BYU-Creighton game in the NIT quarterfinals last night courtside. Fran, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Thanks, Spencer. Glad to be on with you guys.
What was the most impressive aspect from your perspective courtside of BYU's win over Creighton last night?
The crowd, honestly, I thought it was a phenomenal crowd. When you get to the NIT, as I've seen it so many times before, the disappointment of not getting in the NCAA tournament is palpable to start the tournament. Then you win a game, and you win another game, and then you realize, hey, one more game, and we get to go to New York City and play in Madison Square Garden. And I thought the crowd was electric last night, and of course, not surprised, having coached at the Marriott Center before as an opposing coach. So, I think that the other thing I thought was Kyle Collinsworth just being out on the court and playing. I'm old enough to remember Willis Reed as a New York Knicks fan, playing in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and it wasn't quite the same drama, but just for Kyle to be out there and have his teammates know that he was going to give everything he had in his game at the Marriott Center, that was pretty cool too. And as a broadcaster, that's something I'm going to remember for a long time.
Fran, Creighton came out and played extremely well to start things off. Huff was unbelievable early. They had a 12-point lead, and then something changed, and BYU started to find its rhythm. In your opinion, what changed at that point?
Well, at the 8-minute timeout, Dave Rose went to a zone, and they never got out of the zone for the next 32 minutes. And I thought that really and at the same time, Cole Huff, who was on fire, picked up his second foul, I believe. And of course, if you're going to play a zone and all of a sudden the team's best shooter is going to be sitting on the bench with foul trouble, that kind of worked out in spades, I thought, for the Cougars. It was a great coaching decision. Sometimes you make a decision like that, and the opposing team hits a couple threes and you're out of the zone quickly. But they stayed in the zone because it was very effective. And, I think the proof was in the pudding. The next 32 minutes, it was much more difficult for Creighton to score.
ESPN college basketball analyst and a coach for 23 years, Fran Fraschilla, joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline on BYU Sports Nation. You called the semifinal game between BYU and Gonzaga in Las Vegas with Brent Musburger, and that was an unbelievable atmosphere with both Zag and BYU fans. Gonzaga, of course, outlasting BYU and then going on to win the West Coast Conference Tournament. But is there a major difference that you see from the BYU team you watched last night going back to the team you watched play against Gonzaga, or is just the competition level changed?
No, I don't think there's a major difference. I think that what we found out really in the WCC tournament, of course, I follow the tournament, but obviously I'm immersed in Big 12 conference play at ESPN. But I was impressed with the level of play of the top three teams in the WCC. Granted, St. Mary's got beat on the road last night by a good Valpo team, but just to see what Gonzaga's doing right now, it tells you that those three teams at the top of the league all were very, very evenly matched. And, there's no question that BYU gotten into the tournament and got the right draw, that they could be playing this weekend in the Sweet 16. So I don't see a noticeable change at all in the way the Cougs are playing, other than the fact that they were fortunate to get these games at home, which really helped them because of the crowd. But they're a dangerous team. I love their offensive schemes. They have a style that is obviously fun to watch. The talent level fits the style because of the way they shoot the ball. And, last night they played a good opponent who'd been actually tied for third in the Big East until the final weekend of the Big East regular season. And they did it without their most important guy and one of the most important players in the country. So I think that last night's game got to give those players a lot of confidence to know that Kyle wasn't at his best and that they still could prevail.
Well, one player that was pretty close to at his best was the freshman Zach Sellius. He had a pretty special night last night. He's obviously getting ready to go on his church mission to Des Moines, Iowa in the next couple of months. What did you think of the true freshman's performance last night, going 5 of 6 from 3?
Well, I was impressed with him in the WCC tournament. Coming into that tournament, obviously, to prepare, you watch a lot of tape, and you know about Chase Fisher and you know about Nick Emery, but didn't know much about Zach coming into the WCC. And it was apparent that he's had a very good freshman year. And then last night, and I mentioned it on the air. I said the only bad part about this is Coug fans are not going to see him for 2 years, but he was fabulous. He really was, and I think I could get him a pickup game on his preparation day, with George Niang. I've already talked to George and Monte Morris. He's going to Des Moines. I got some friends there, but no, it's going to be fun to watch him, in the future. And think about it, guys. By the time he comes back, that's going to be a seasoned team, with Emery and Hawes and Mika and Yoli Childs. It's going to be fun. But good memory for Coug fans to see Zach go out like that, because he's got a chance to be a really, really good player.
ESPN's Fran Fraschilla with us on BYU Sports Nation. I don't know how much time you've had to look at Valpo or how much basketball you've seen that team play this year under Bryce Drew, but what can you tell us off the top of your head about Valparaiso and what kind of a team BYU will see in New York?
It's interesting. Very similar to Creighton and BYU. Really good offensive team. Guys that can score. Alec Peters is a terrific player. He's a 6'9" kid who can play both outside and inside. They've got a shot blocker in the middle, which is unusual for a team at that level, Fernandez. And just a well-coached team, particularly well-coached offensively, with good schemes. And, Dave Rose told me how much he enjoyed preparing for Creighton because, their offensive philosophy was similar to the Cougs, and I think he's going to find a similar type matchup. So team's got 29 wins, which is, a heck of a lot of wins, obviously, and I'll be studying them the next few days. I'll be in New York covering the game, so I'm excited about, seeing that matchup between Valpo and BYU.
Fran, at most, Kyle Collinsworth has 2 more games in a BYU uniform before his career is over. Do you believe that Collinsworth has a spot on an NBA roster? Is there a spot for him in the NBA?
It's going to be, let me put it this way. He's an acquired taste for NBA teams. The one thing that does set him back is just that inability to consistently make those outside shots. But he is absolutely getting a chance. He'll be in the Summer League in Las Vegas with a team. He'll get every opportunity to prove himself, and he does so many great things to help you win that it wouldn't shock me, but that would be the one thing Kyle's got to improve on and overcome. And it may not happen in year one. It may be a type of situation where he hones it, and I don't know if he's going to, if it's not the NBA, whether he would stay around, play in the D League, or go overseas. But he is one of, if not the most unique players in college basketball, because it's almost unheard of for a guy to be a school's all-time career assist leader and all-time leading rebounder, especially at a school that's produced so many great players. So he'll get the opportunity, but at the same time, he's been just an absolute pleasure to watch. And last night he stuck around to give us a post-game interview, and it was amazing. He had run out of gas, and there's no question in my mind, 90 minutes after the game, he was going to be back home in bed.
At one point, I saw something come across the Twitter machine about something.
Yes, I said it.
Fran, it was fantastic. It made me laugh out loud for about 5 minutes with the Johnny Manziel comparison.
Oh, it's funny when he makes the free throw, and he turned around, and there was good-natured bantering between him and Maurice Watson, and can't remember who else. It might have been Emery or Chase Fisher at the top of the key behind the free throw line. And when he turned around, he had that pale look on his face, and you could see from where I was the bleary eyes, and he looked like. He did. He looked like he'd been on an all-night bender, and obviously that's not the case. We know that, but it was so much fun to see that because, he had that look on his face like, I can't believe I'm out here doing this. I should be home in bed. But to his credit, he was out there, and even with the flu, he had I think 10 points and 6 rebounds in limited minutes. So that tells you all you need to know about him.
Fran, anytime a team doesn't get into the NCAA tournament, and that's your goal, it's disappointing initially. But now that BYU has gotten on this roll and playing really well, what does a trip to the NIT Final Four do for Dave Rose and this BYU program moving forward?
Well, it's fabulous. And if someone asked me, would you rather go to the NIT finals or play in the NCAA tournament as a coach and a player? And the obvious answer is you want to be in the NCAA tournament, even if you go out in the first round.
Sure.
It's the goal of the season. You start talking about it in August. But when it's not realistic, the next goal is to keep playing as long as you can. And the carrot at the end of the stick for teams in the NIT every season is to go to New York City, to get, a free trip to, one of the great cities of the world, to play in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, as it's been described. You're with your buddies. You're with your families. You got to create some more basketball memories you'll have for a lifetime, and you got to win a championship. And next week, other than maybe I don't even know who's left in the CIT and those other small tournaments. Next week, there's only 8, major, big, 8 teams playing, 4 in the Final Four and 4 in the NIT Final Four in New York, and it's a great consolation prize. And it's a way to keep adding wins to your schedule. BYU's now up at 26 or 27, and it's going to be, it could be a great way to cap the season and send these seniors out with great memories. And for guys like Celius and Emery, some of the younger guys coming back, Jordan Chapman, it's a chance to, to maybe get a little bit more playing experience in pressure situations that are going to lead to more success in the future.
Fran, a pleasure to talk to you. We appreciate you taking time in your busy schedule, and thank you for watching out for Zach in Des Moines, Iowa.
I'm going to call my man George Niang after he's done with the tournament, because I know he's not supposed to play much, and I know he's got that one day. And from what I've been told, it's only half-court basketball. That's
in the rule book.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know what? There's nobody better in the half court than George Niang. I think we can get Zach some good one-on-one stuff. But no, I know he's going to serve his mission well, and I look forward to seeing him come back in a couple of years. And future's bright for Coug basketball because of some of these young guys that are coming into the program.
Fran, great to talk to you. Safe travels, and we'll see you in New York on ESPN.
Sounds great, guys. Look forward to it.